The new Nutty Putty footage is horrifying. If you guys don't know what's a Nutty Putty, it's basically a cave where people just dive it in, especially cave divers. I don't know why, but let's just get straight to the video.
Trapped forever. The unseen footage of the Nutty Putty cave incident. I gotta say, every time I hear about the story, it freaks me the fuck out. It's about this guy by the name of John Jones. As you can see right here, he's on our screen. He went cave diving, spelunking as they call it, and he slid into like a crevice, a slope that went downward at a downward angle, and essentially he got stuck. There was no way out. He was upside down, and eventually, well, you already know. Every time I hear about the story, it freaks.
But why do people actually go cave diving? Like, what's impressive about cave diving, bro? Like, what's the point? What are you trying to prove? Where's the flex, bro? Where's the sports, bro? You're telling me I cave dived, bro. What the fuck is this about, bro?
Me out, and I think by the end of this video you guys are going to be pretty freaked out too, and I kind of want to, you know, go through this with you guys just to show you exactly what happened to this guy.
Pretty much as wide as I am, double tall. So Rob come around the corner there, has to go feet first because you have to go down this head first.
Okay, so the victim is
there he is.
Probably.
I mean, the way he died was so disgustingly creepy and spooky. And for those of you with, what do we call it? It's a fear of tight spaces. I forgot the word. Caution.
About the top of his feet.
Claustrophobia.
Are about maybe 1.5 to 2 feet below my feet right now.
Wow. So as you can see right there, I believe is John's feet. He's literally upside down, and I believe about 100 people or so went down in intervals to try and rescue this guy, and nobody could get him out. He was that. And again, I don't know why people go cave diving. I don't know why they go spelunking. It's not my thing. I don't understand it. I don't like tight spaces like that. If I have no way, I'm not a naked mole rat. I am not a mouse. I'm not a worm meant for burrowing underground. I don't understand why human beings do this, but alas.
In November of 2009, a group of explorers entered one of Utah's most popular underground cave systems for what was meant to be a bonding experience.
A bonding experience. Underground. How is that?
Yo, nowadays, bonding experience is just doing s'mores, going to the desert or somewhere like that. We making some tents. You know what I'm saying? We doing grills and shit. Who the fuck as a bonding time decides to go and do this? This is not fun. I don't understand why people do this. Going underground is fun now.
Not even a thing. How does that work?
But deep inside the
hell
cave's
no.
narrow, twisting passages,
Guys.
one tragic mistake triggered a desperate fight for survival.
Nah. Again, a bonding experience. And what is this, bro? A dark ass cave, bro. What is that? How are we as friends supposed to be bonding in some deep dark cave with almost no air, no wiggle room? I can't stand up. Anytime someone farts, it's going straight into my face. How is that bonding at all?
Leading to one of the most extensive rescue operations ever attempted.
Remember, just be safe.
Yeah, well, again, warning, if you have claustrophobia, I remember the word, finally, do not watch this at all. You might, I don't want to trigger you at all.
In 2009, 26-year-old medical student John Edward Jones traveled from Virginia to his home state of Utah for the Thanksgiving holiday, accompanied by his wife Emily and their 1-year-old daughter.
Now, I wasn't aware that they had a 1-year-old daughter at all. Now I gotta wonder, was the wife behind him? Did they go cave diving together? Did they bring the baby along into these caves?
Nah,
did they have a baby on tow while entering these caves? That is something I wonder.
On November 24th, John, his brother Josh, and 9 other friends and family members set out to explore a popular cave system, never imagining that one of them would never make it out.
So it was a whole family event, Thanksgiving. They went spelunking, and disaster happened.
In 1960, an explorer named Dale Green discovered the hydrothermal cave located west of Utah Lake. Due to the soft, putty-like texture of the clay lining its narrow passages, he named it the Nutty Putty Cave, a nod to the children's toy Silly Putty.
Since I don't want to make this story any longer than it needs to be, although this will be pretty long, as you guys are going to see certain details. Essentially, multiple people went into the cave system, a very tight and narrow cave system of which people previously have used for spelunking. Now,
So Nutty Putty Cave named for like a silly. This doesn't look silly. This looks more of an advanced mission that obviously I would never do. If my dad told me let's go there together, I'm gonna be honest. I'm sorry, Dad. I'm gonna be like, go on your own. I'm not dealing with none of that shit. I'm sorry, but I'm not trying to die like this. This is the worst way to die, I think.
Spelunking, imagine it as deep sea diving, I think they call it. Or better yet, scuba diving. But on ground, underground, with dirt, in caves, with potential rocks and debris that can tumble and crush you if it, for some reason, decides to give out. Anyway.
Afterward, it became one of Utah's most popular underground systems, seeing as many as 6,000 groups of explorers each year, including young Boy Scouts.
Crazy.
But as time passed, the cave's dangers became impossible to ignore, and rescue calls grew more frequent. In 2004,
my thing is, if rescue calls became more frequent and some people, especially kids, have gone cave exploring or spelunking as they, because this is not traditional cave exploring where you can stand upright and actually stand and look around like, wow, so cool. Like, this is actually like people crawling into crevices like moles and rats like in the walls. Like, what are we doing here? But my thing is, if more calls, more emergency calls to save people have been popping up over time, why not just shut the entire cave system down before tragedy struck? I don't understand.
In
Here we
2004, 16-year-old Brock Clark was trapped upside down for nearly 14 hours.
Of course.
But ultimately survived the harrowing ordeal.
What?
2 years
Good.
later, the cave entrance was gated off, and new restrictions required permits for entry. To obtain a permit, at least one person in each group was required to have prior caving experience. In 2004, 16-year-old Brock Clark was trapped upside down for nearly 14 hours.
Of course.
But ultimately survived the harrowing.
So for 14 hours you were upside down. Do you know the blood pressure on your head is fucking crazy? Imagine dying like that. Dying upside down and the blood pressure is all over your head and you die from blood pressure. Oh my days, that is disgusting. I don't like this. I don't like this, bro. I don't fucking like this, bro. Where are we going through this? Where are we fucking going? Holy shit. Oh fuck, bro. He survived, thank God for that, but the other guy unfortunately didn't, bro. RIP to him, bro.
Harrowing ordeal.
Now, after that, a 16-year-old getting stuck in the same way that John Jones, I believe his name is, got stuck but didn't make it out. You'd think they just closed the entire cave system down. Again, you'd think they just say, you know, apparently this is too dangerous for the average person. Maybe we should just close everything down. There's literally no point in keeping these things accessible to the general public. But no, of course not. That's too logical.
2 years later, the cave entrance was gated off, and new restrictions required permits for entry. To obtain a permit, at least one person in each group was required to have prior caving experience, a measure intended to prevent tragedy.
Wow. A piece of paper, a permit, a license is supposed to make people infallible to being stuck in caves. Wow. Clearly that worked out.
But on November 24th, 2009, as 26-year-old John Jones, his brother, and their friends made their way into the cave system, tragedy was about to unfold.
Yes, as we know, they crawled into the cave, which is, by the way, catch this. The part of the cave that they went down is literally called the birth canal, bro. And this is the entrance here. They went down the birth canal, something called Ed's Push, and then he got stuck in some uncharted territory here. Literally. Like, why? What are we doing? And you can actually see how tight these crevices, these goddamn caves are. It's creepy.
According to police records, it was around 9:30 p.m. when Josh Jones contacted local authorities for help.
Yo, gang, at this point, I'm calling every single cave a Grim Reaper, bruh. I swear to God, this shit, it's not okay, bro. This is not okay. I don't know who in the right mind might go caving, bro. I think you guys watching this video, I think there's someone right now who's cave diving. I think. Like, there's obviously someone doing this. I don't know why, bro. I don't know why.
Help, telling them his brother John had gotten stuck inside the cave.
Wow.
Though Josh and John were both experienced cavers and had been inside Nutty Putty Cave before, a critical mistake had left John trapped in one of the most horrifying situations imaginable.
Guys, please leave the cave exploring, the burrowing underground, to the naked mole rats, the worms, the groundhogs, the prairie dogs. These things, through millions of years of evolution, were made for these things. Not us as human beings. We're not made for this stuff.
Attempting to navigate a well-mapped section of the cave known as the birth canal, named for its extremely narrow passageway.
Holy shit, a birth canal, a grown man climbing through something, wiggling his way through something called the birth canal. I'm just like, you're just, at that point, you're asking for
John took a wrong turn and entered an unmapped section of tunnel near an area called Ed's Push.
Oh my God, Ed's push. What are these terms and names?
How?
John likely believed that if he kept moving forward,
Bro, but the Ed's pushed, it's like, isn't that the end? He entered Ed's push, there's no, what the fuck? How do you pass that?
What are these terms and names?
John likely believed that if he kept moving forward, he would eventually have enough room to turn around. When he reached a small opening, John crawled headfirst into the sloped passage, not realizing it was a dead end.
Why on earth would you dive in head first to somewhere that leads down? If I was you, I'm just going back at this point. I'm not gonna even enter foot first, bro. Fuck the foot first and fuck the head down first, bro. Just go back. Trust me.
Horrifically, John slipped into
Wow.
the tunnel and became trapped.
Guys, I don't have anything close to claustrophobia. Sure, I don't like being in like super tight spaces. I think a lot of us would be uncomfortable. The level of not caring about your life you would have to have in order to even slip your way through crevices and rocks as old as the earth with no way or flexibility to I guess reverse course is ridiculous to me. This guy, he climbed into a cave system thinking that he knew what he was doing, and they've been there before. But the problem is he went into an uncharted section with no way like to reverse course or turn his body in a way to go back up Ed's push and back into the birth canal. Right? So he kept going, and eventually made his way into a part of the cave where it was pretty much a dead end. And as a grown man, you can't flip your body around unless you're like a contortionist. Most grown men are not, and it's too tight. It's too tight of a fit to turn around. I know people say being, dying in a fire and drowning are the worst ways to die, but I genuinely believe this right here probably has to be the worst way to go, because you'll see. He was stuck for 24 hours, 27 damn hours, before anything happened.
The point John passed through was estimated to measure just 10 by 18 inches.
Oh God.
John
That
was
is
pinned
fucking-
headfirst in an angle of more than 70 degrees, tilted
What?
onto his left side with his left arm trapped beneath him. It was the same area where a teenage boy had been rescued years earlier, but at roughly 6 feet tall and over 200 pounds, John would be far more difficult to free.
There we go. Grown man, he can't make his way out. The 16-year-old probably, much skinnier, shorter, more frail and flexible. A grown man doing this is where he went wrong. Honestly.
By the time emergency crews arrived, he'd already been trapped for nearly an hour, and time was not on their side. However, the only part of John that rescuers could see or access were his feet and part of his calves. The ceiling was so low that any attempt to raise John meant his feet would hit the ceiling after lifting him only a few inches.
And based off of what I knew about the story is the fact that the only way I think they could be able to rescue him, because he was like, 6 feet or whatever and too tall to be rescued, they would have to break his ankles, I believe, and kind of like maneuver him out. Otherwise, he would not be able to get rescued based off of his height. And how would, cave explorers who are also trying to rescue this guy even begin to break his legs? This is, I'm telling you, man, don't do this. Guys, don't do this. There's no point in doing this. You guys are fucking adrenaline junkies who are trying to kill yourselves. Stop. There's literally no benefit.
Rescue teams
Bro, if you're just that bored, go to the gym or something for your adrenaline rush or something, but don't do that, bro. That is just fucked. I'm not gonna lie, that is just fucked, bro. The stupidest way to die.
worked tirelessly through the night, staying by John's side and talking to him to keep him calm. But as the hours dragged on, little progress was made in freeing him, and time was quickly running out.
Absolute insanity. Absolute insanity. Now, here's some footage of them actually trying to rescue this guy via some contraption they made in the system.
Rescuers were attempting to pull John free using a 4-to-1 pulley system. These efforts were captured in a series of videos recorded by the rescue team.
Okay, one of these. There's this slot here.
You can see how tight these things are. You can see how tight everything is.
Says why.
But if I was you, I would take off the shoes, both shoes, and just my foot, make it like this. Make it like a straight like this, but point everything close so they can push you from like this narrowy place. Can't you just do that, bro? You know what I'm saying?
These
as I
people.
am, double tall. Says
That is not John. This is Rob, her, I guess, co-savior or the rescuer that was with her. I don't believe that's John at all, but you can see how tight everything is. I would never, ever in my life ever do
Rob
this.
come around the corner there has to go feet first because you have to go down this head first.
Like, look how tight
This
that
comes
is.
around a corner to your right and down. And after that, it slopes off and to the left, which is where John is.
Do you see how tight this is? This guy isn't even stuck. That is just the guy she's with. This guy, John, went even deeper into the tunnels. And I guess it's because he couldn't turn around, or maybe he could, and he just thought, maybe I can find a different way out. Like, stop risking your lives doing unnecessary things that human beings were not made for. I get it. Adrenaline junkies, we want to go into uncharted territories. We want to be the first to do things, you know, in the world and become legends in whatever fields we're trying to become legends in, but this is ridiculous to
We've
me.
got one line going.
Yeah, be a legend on your own, gang. I'm not trying to risk my life for that. He went deeper. If that's narrow, what's in there? Narrower? Well, why didn't you just go back, gang? Don't you realize you're risking your life and you have a wife and a daughter to take care of? Your daughter, that was in 2019, and she was like what, 1? Your daughter is like 18 right now. Come on.
To Rob, another line to John. This comes up this way,
Nope.
up to a cam.
Nope. And no, that's a no for me.
Created a major problem. Brandon's colleague, Ryan Schertz, managed to reach John and brought him a pouch filled with Gatorade, lowering a tube down so he could drink. Ryan would later recall John shifting between calm and coherent conversation to helpless, panicked thrashing. To keep him focused on survival, Ryan asked him about his family. He later remembered John speaking about his wife, Emily, and sharing a secret. She was pregnant with their second child.
Oh, guys, again, we're not made for this. And one, if you have a child alive with your wife outside, I saw this meme once. Like a few of the memes here that I found, cave divers for literally no reason.
Yes.
Like, why? Another one, cave divers doing everything just to see some rock. Another one here, the out of touch adult's guide to kid. Like, what is this? like cave divers after finding a cave called Devil's Ass Crack with a survival rate of 0%. Another one here, cave divers with a loving wife and kids at home be like, and I quote, I wonder what's down this completely pitch black death hole, bro. Like, why?
4 p.m. After almost 19 hours trapped in the
19
crevice,
hours, man.
rescue teams reported that John had been moved a couple of feet with the aid of the 4-to-1 rope system. Finally, Ryan was able to see through a crack and give John eye contact with another human for the first time in nearly a full day.
24
But without warning, the equipment
hours.
catastrophically failed.
How?
2 cords tied around a rock formation suddenly snapped, sending a steel carabiner flying loose and striking rescuer Ryan Schertz in the face, temporarily knocking him unconscious.
So at this point, it's over, man. It's over. Obvious.
So you 6 foot and a fat ass. How the fuck does it snap? So imagine you're getting pulled up and then you just snaps and you go back. It's harder, bro. Oh, that's just GG's. That is just GG's. Yeah, that's good games for you, brother. Good games for you. Khalas. Say bye. Say bye-bye. You're not seeing that shit again, gang. You're not seeing the world again.
We already know what happened to this guy. And it makes you wonder, you know, spelunking and cave diving. For any cave divers watching this right now, respectfully, this is just inquisiting or inquiring as to why you guys do what you do. What do you get out of this? Especially if you have family and people who care about you. What is the point?
So the victim is probably about the top of his feet are about maybe 1.5 to 2 feet below my feet right now.
That's good.
And
So you're standing straight up right now, right?
I'm laying standing. It's pretty steep here.
Yeah.
It's like maybe 60 or 70 degrees.
I gotta say, poor guy. Critical error, baby at home, wife at home, went down with his brother. They thought they knew the territory. They did not. It was uncharted, and his wife had another baby on the way. You know, clearly, you know, his wife and his children are much older now. Children are all grown up now. And seeing this story, you know, online for many years, over and over again, documentaries, reaction videos, video essays. It has to be dystopian. It has to be just incredibly mind-bending and traumatic because, you know, your husband made a critical error that changed your lives forever. And, you know, respectfully, he didn't have to do this. This guy did not have to do this. And I just, again, this is why I want cave divers and spelunkers to tell me in the comment section why. What do you get out of this? What is the point of this? Because at least with, like, you know, deep sea diving or cave diving, you know, underwater, at least you can, you know, there's some kind of benefit there to seeing new, I guess, sea life potential.
Exactly.
I don't know, cures to cancer underwater in the oceans. There's so many different things under the ocean, right? But what?
Not diving underwater is so safe, bro. You got this whole space where you dive, maybe sharks. But again, you're gonna be protected. Obviously, no one is gonna take you to a place full of sharks or hungry. Maybe you can go shark diving. There's like shark diving, but they're fed. That's normal. But the fact that you're going caves, you're getting stuck with your gooey clothes and the wet rocks that are like billions of years old, by the way. Nah, I'm good from that game.
You get out of this, right? I just...
My side.
So at this point, we have Brandon still trying to rescue this guy.
Brandon was able to stabilize himself by jamming his body into a narrower section of the crack, allowing him to speak with John. But once he introduced himself, he received no response.
At this point, John was likely dead. I believe he was unofficially pronounced deceased, but they had to send a medical practitioner down to confirm everything, just so you guys know.
According to his account of events, Brandon was able to tap John on the leg and could hear him breathing a deep, gurgling breath, as though his lungs were filling with fluid.
Okay, so he was actively dying because, I mean, once you're upside down for so long, your body can only pump blood and retain fluids in an optimal way for so long upside down. Again, humans, we're not meant to be upside down. That's another thing, we're not meant to be upside down.
Then John began making frantic small kicks with his feet, but after a second, he stopped. According to Brandon, this was likely the moment that 26-year-old John Jones passed away. After 27 hours trapped upside down, the strain on his body was simply too much. A paramedic would later crawl through the treacherous tunnels and claustrophobic passageways to confirm his death. 4 minutes to midnight at 11:56 p.m. on November 25th, 2009, John was pronounced deceased.
Yep, rest in peace. There's a lesson to be learned here, ladies and gentlemen. A very strong one indeed. And that is, if you're going to be doing dangerous activities and you don't have a backup plan, you don't have contingencies in case things fail, a safety plan, do not do it. Whether you're jumping out of planes, you're climbing the side of a mountain, you know, you're a parkourist, jumping from building to building. If you don't have a safety net, something to save you just in case you make a critical error, because we are all human beings, and especially if you have a wife and a baby at home and your wife is actively pregnant, then you're a fucking dumbass. You know, as this top comment said, this is why I quit caving right after birth, of course. Why risk it? Another person said, you have a 100% chance of not getting stuck in caves as long as you don't go in them. Incoming wife joke, by the way. Another person said, the only way I go into a cave is if I can stand up fully at all times and there's a tour guide and a cool gift shop. Yeah, I concur. Another person said, my wife's pregnant with a kid, might crawling into a cave later. What the F, people? Anyways, crazy story. Rest in peace, man.
Man, that was actually, I want to say, like, I enjoyed watching it with you guys, but also that's kind of sad. But anyways, hope you guys did enjoy this video. Okay, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys like and sub, turn those post notifications, and without further ado, see you guys on the next one. Peace.